Well, good morning, folks. Today is the 13th of December, 2025. My granddaughter's birthday. She's 4 years old today. Happy birthday, Ava. I love you. And look forward to celebrating your birthday with you today. Uh, well, I mean, we have a tale of two contrasting air masses. To the north here, it's brutally cold. And we have snow in the boundary in between it here, right? We're gonna have a quick heating system. Energy is gonna dive south and bring some snow to this area. We already have snow ongoing here, right? And so to the north of there, it's brutally cold. And I'll bring up the temperatures in a second. And we'll talk about the hazards here as well. Let's put the temperatures on here real quick. Stop this. Here we go. And temperatures. There we go. Whew, my goodness. Air temperatures approaching, in the negative 20s here. So, interestingly enough, down here, you see to the south, some very stagnant air here, right? Um, down here, and down here in southern Florida, it's in the 70s and 80s almost already. Into South Texas as well, and thunderstorms offshore here. You actually have a marine weather statement right there with some storms there. Uh, so you could see the cold air, and it's gonna be pushing to the southeast, right? And let's animate this weather radar again. Even where it's snowing, it's like in the single digits, so likely to be very dry, fluffy snow. We have snow ongoing here. Let's take the temperatures back off and put the wind speed here. You bet where the winds are just, 10, 20 miles an hour, the wind chills are even worse here. So brutally cold. I know I said that a million times already, but yeah, it's just be miserable to be out there in this right now. So if you don't have to go out, don't. All right. So let's take the wind speeds off here. Take this off altogether and switch to dark mode here. A little bit easier to see. All right, so there's the snow. Majority of the precip on the map is snow with maybe some showers down here in the deep south. Thankfully, on the west coast, there's nothing going on right now, and there will be next week. But right now, that's what's going on here. Let's take the radar off and look at the hazards here. So starting from north to south, uh, uh, move this over a little bit. Extreme cold warning. Wind chills as low as 44 below zero. So, and cold weather advisory. Wind chills as low as negative 35. Then you have your winter weather advisory here. Winter storm warning. And some lake effect snow warnings here along the lee side of the lakes. So some other winter storm warnings related to lake effect snow. Winter weather advisory for parts of Nebraska and Kansas. Dense fog advisory for the south and down to Texas. See dense fog advisory as well. Freezing fog here into parts of Tennessee and Arkansas with stagnant air there. In California, you got some dense fog going on with stagnant air as well, air quality problems in that area. High wind warning out here into parts of southern Wyoming. Some dense fog. Air stagnation here, parts of Idaho, Oregon, and Washington for today. So, what's the short-term pattern going to look like. We'll go over that next. But first, we're going to go over the local area forecast. So, much colder temperature is going to be pushing into Georgia here, still on Monday, but starting to push through North Georgia on Sunday. Cold air mass pushes south across the region on Sunday. Temperatures will plummet into the teens, lower 20s Sunday night into Monday across the state. So now's the time to wrap up whatever exterior faucets you might have, or take off the hoses and run your water overnight or to have it drip so your pipes don't freeze. Bring any potted outdoor plants inside. And if you have any neighbors, especially the elderly, that may not have heat or something like that, make sure they're okay. And the people, the homeless, are going to be the ones most affected by this. So, if you could bring them a hot meal or something, I don't know. Some people choose to be homeless, but most of the people are out there are not, and they need our help. So I keep that in mind. All right. So enough about that. It's kind of depressing to think about it, but for the short term, highs in the 60s to 70s today. Partly cloudy skies for most of the part of the state, and then mostly sunny for the rest of the state. So North Georgia in the low 60s, South Georgia near 70 today. Tonight, see where the coldest air already starts pushing south here. Right, and the precip chances are a rise overnight as well, but likely no frozen precip here. And tomorrow, highs. See the north, it doesn't get warm at all. The cold front pushing through, and precip chances here. So that's just for the next couple days. All right. So we already talked about that, but let's look at the longer term here. Temperatures. So see today, highs near 70. Pretty confident in that. More wider range in temperatures here, probably due to when the cold front passage here for highs, but pretty confident temperatures are going to be between 40 and 45 degrees for a high on Monday. So lows in the low 20s to mid 20s to upper 20s possibly. And then the temperatures start to warm up, but stay below freezing at night for a couple days. And then we have the ensemble, Euro ensemble here, still hanging on to above normal temps for most of the period through Christmas, right? But you see, when we get further out, we can see the huge swings here between the max and min with the 50 members here. So I don't think either the max or the min temperatures are realistic for highs. But you see on Christmas Day, what a big range here. So as we get further out, the higher uncertainty exists, and I'll show you why here. But now as far as precip goes, precip chances on the rise here, and this is a chart, right, showing the precip amounts and what the model's ensemble mean is here, which is just an average of all the 50 members, right? So overall, we see an increased chance of precip going through the end of the month, with the potential of having just different rounds of maybe light to moderate precip for the end of the month. So But you can see here, no snow expected. So for snow lovers, sorry guys, at least for the through December, not likely to have much. But you can see when you look at the precip amounts here on a daily basis, see how the amounts increase to like a half an inch or something. So chances of more precip or increase here towards the end of the period. Yeah, as far as wind chill values go, we got our temperatures, air temperatures on the left, wind chills on the right. Negative 30 and 40 degrees in parts of North Dakota, Minnesota. Wind chills this morning, so brutally cold, like I said, and it's gonna remain that way, okay, for the next couple days. So be careful out there, all right? So this is the graphic from the Weather Prediction Center for the near record cold temperatures here. Mid-December cold, right? Wind chills, we talked about that. Near record cold temperatures. Lows below 28 degrees are forecast to reach as far as the northern Gulf Coast, mid-Atlantic states. So it's going to be a quick hitting shot of cold air here, but see wind chills approaching negative 50, 40 to 50 degrees up here. Grand Rapids, North Dakota, and there's a North Dakota. But temperatures in the 20s to teens in the south overnight. So, like we talked about, it's going to be brutal. All right. So, let's get through these next couple of days without people dying or getting stuck out there. They can't start their car or something like that. So, um, let's keep an eye on your friends and make sure they're okay. So this is a graphic from the Weather Prediction Center showing the short-term to midterm U.S. hazards outlook. Heavy snow returning to the west coast here and heavy rain. High winds accompanying that onshore flow again. And that hazardous cold on the 15th here for the south parts of mid-Atlantic and into the Ohio Valley and into parts of Alaska here and the Aleutian Island chain here out as well. So what does a short-term forecast look like? Well, we know it's going to be cold, right? For a good portion of the northern U.S. pushing into the south, right? We have the quick heating system moving through here. We'll slow this down a little bit. Right, let me step this back. Stop it here. Move through time here. Energy pushing through here to the from west to east. Trough digs along the east coast. We have potentially some heavy bands of snow setting up here. Maybe some freezing precip down here into parts of the Appalachians, parts of Tennessee, Knoxville. With this potential heavy band here into the south, not the south, parts of the mid-Atlantic, maybe overspreading Washington, D.C., Wilmington, Delaware, Philadelphia, Trenton, maybe New York City, right on Sunday, Sunday morning, pushing out to sea. By the end of by the time the day's halfway over, that snow will push out. You know, very cold air pushing in, right? Zoom back out a little bit here. Gotta get my microphone a little closer here. And maybe some rain pushing through Sunday morning in the south. Florida getting some rain. Some much needed rain here in the Florida, right? Southern Florida. Okay. And then out west here, we're going to have precip start to come on shore again. You can see the heavy, by Monday morning, heavy rain ongoing here on the west coast. Alright, so now we go out a little further with the NAM like we always do. We can see where the heaviest precip is, and we see where the coldest air is here. And we can switch over to that real quick. Let's look at the surface temps. Yeah. 7 a.m. Monday morning. Forecast. This may be a little bit too warm here. I think it's a bit colder than that here in middle Georgia, but single digits in a good portion of the country here. All the 20s and 30s all the way down to the Gulf Coast. All right. Warming up some during the day, but not a lot. And then we get to 7 p.m. on Monday. Still very cold, but not as cold as it has been, right? Temperatures are starting to warm up already. Switching back to the radar, simulated radar. Maybe it's looking like we might have something on the east coast here. Let's take a look here. This is the NAM wanting to do something here. Maybe some quick hitting precip here. Let's go back and look at the upper air pattern here real quick. Got a jet streak moving through the flow here. Pretty progressive here, right? So we go a little further out with the euro. Let's look at the euro at this point. It's well, it didn't go to it. 60 euro. Let's see what the euro shows at surface and precip here. It's a Sunday. Going into Monday. I'm not showing the same thing here. So we'll just have to see what happens there. Going back to the upper air pattern. Let's go up a little bit higher here. Yeah, that trough builds like doesn't stay there very long. So getting a Tuesday here, you see the subtropical jet is getting going here along the west coast again. Very strong 250 millibar winds way up in the atmosphere, jet stream here. 165 knots. Strong onshore flow here. We switch over to the surface and precip simulated and go back some. And then we're now more focused on the west coast here. So see how far north the systems are right now. This low is way up here. So the northern stream is going to be very active, but keeping the warm air, the cold air bottled up north. Let's go back to 0Z on the euro, go a little further out here. Maybe when they bring another cold front through on Friday. Right, but I don't know if that's going to bring really cold air or not. I don't think it will. Let's take a look here. It might bring some cooler air temporarily, but the Euro's really wanting to hold on to warm air further south here. Right, and going back to simulated radar, the west coast remains active. If we go back to the upper air pattern, maybe the jet moves further to the north here as we get towards the end of the period. And let's back this up a little bit. You can see what happens here. Let's go up to 250 millibars. Yeah. So That's that's the upper. That's a jet stream at the highest levels here. You see it moves further to the south here, the onshore flow. You have a low pressure developing further out here, a dip in the jet stream. It buckles here, right? And so you're going to have a deep onshore flow um, up and over. You see high pressure at the surface here. Not the surface, but high pressure building a loft, directing the storms, right? See the strong jet stream up here as well. So very active pattern up here along where this jet stream is, right? The jet streak. It looks like the high pressure in the long term is kind of suppressed to the south, but wherever this boundary is where we're going to have the most weather in the longer term. So as far as excessive rainfall today, nothing expected in the continental U.S. Starting to increase chances along the west coast again with a slight risk of excessive rainfall tomorrow. You can see where this area has a slight risk to marginal risk tomorrow, right? Slight risk to marginal risk here on Monday. Tuesday, marginal risk all along the west coast, the northwest coast, and the northern California. And day 5, still hanging on here on the west coast, northwest coast. As far as thunderstorms, we have the potential for some thunderstorms here, parts of Louisiana, Texas, and the southern Florida today. Then in the southern Florida tomorrow. And no severe weather expected for Monday. So as far as the accumulating snowfall into tonight and Sunday for the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic, there's weather advisory, parts of New York, etc. from 10 p.m. through Saturday through 1 p.m. Sunday. Temperatures in the mid upper 30s dropping to 25 to 30, and maybe starting is some wet snow or rain, but this will be updated at 5 p.m. today. They may uptrend these graphics a little bit depending on where the heaviest snow may be forecast with upcoming model runs, but dry and powdery snow expected. So the snowfall ratios are likely going to be higher than normal here with the cold air as part of the system. So there's a snowfall that's expected for these areas. So see out on the eastern tip of Long Island, the most heaviest snowfall totals expected here. This is uptrended a little bit since yesterday, so 1 to 4 inches of snow, maybe 2 to 4 to 8, 4 to 6 here, Long Island area. So not an overly impactful event, but given the character of the snow and it's going to stick to the ground, it's been cold, so definitely hamper travel if you're trying to travel during this time. As far as event snow total around the Boston, Washington area, or Baltimore, Washington, as you get further to the northeast, you see the higher snowfall totals possible here, up to 5 inches. Washington, D.C., maybe 2 inches. And out west here in the mountains, you can see we're going to be a lot higher amounts, but generally 2 to 5, 3 to, I don't know, 5 to 7, 3 to 5. And out here in the hills here, Appalachians, not really on the east side of the Appalachians, not expected to get a lot here. But so again, a kind of an interesting event. You're going to have more snow to the west here and more snow to the east. A little further to the north here in the State College area, expected my cat's walking in front of me on the screen here. Roughly between a trace to 1 inch. And further west, you see the higher totals here, the snow. Moving further west here, you see the most snow totals are expected along the Great Lakes and the windward side of the Appalachians, maybe 5 to 7 to 10 inches of snow here. So, impactful event. This is through 7 a.m. Saturday to 7 a.m. Tuesday. So, yeah. So, as far as the snow totals from the lake effect areas here, quite a large range depending on locality here. So 7 to 22, 4 to 19 inches of snow, 1 to 11, 3 to 10, 4 to 10. So quite a huge range here of snowfall totals expected. So this isn't uncommon for this area to have localized heavy snow with lake effect events here. So moving to the atmospheric river event coming up the 20th through the 9th of January. This is updated yesterday. So this is really highlighting the long-term flooding risk. You could see 8 to 14 day precip outlook above normal here into parts of Northern California, right? And you see the moderate risk of heavy precip. This is the 20 through the 26th to 2025. And you move further out, 3 to 4 precip outlook, weak precip outlook, moves again to the north here, right? So, enhanced onshore flow supports a moderate risk of high winds. So, this La Nina pattern with period of enhanced onshore flow is favored to persist into the new year. So, be mindful. This is a long, this is going to last a while. So, let's be careful out west here. This is going to be pretty nasty coming up. So we talked about this, but accordingly, the risk is heavy precip. 20 through the 26, you see where the highest risks are, moderate risk, all on the west coast. And slight risk a little further to the east here. There's your heavy snow outlook. All right, risk of heavy snow all out west here. Nothing on the east at all. So the 20 through the 26. So if you like snow, you better go out west here. High winds, we talked about this, but moderate risk here along the west, Intermountain West, and a larger slight risk here for a good portion of the nation with enhanced, just different, well, you got the boundary setting up here, right, with the jet stream screaming across the central part of the country, likely to bring enhanced gradient winds, and that's likely what's going to be causing the enhanced winds in this period here. Temperatures, no risk of hazardous temperatures here except for parts of Alaska with a moderate to slight risk, the 20 through the 24th, and slight risk, the 20 through the 26th. So, if you like cold weather, you better go far to the north here. It's going to be or into Alaska. Normally, when we have cold temps in Alaska, most times we don't have cold temps in most of the U.S. So right before Christmas, likely to be above normal for most of the nation. You can see where the highest precip totals are, right? We talked about this out west here, dry as a bone here, and the desert southwest and parts of Texas into the Central Plains in the south, right? Yeah. So days 8 to 14. So through Christmas, right? Merry Christmas, guys. Near normal to below normal temps here into Canada. Not Canada, Alaska, right? Hawaii's still above normal. I've been seeing this like consistently here. We don't talk about Hawaii much, but Aleutian Island chain above normal. Okay. And way in the northeast, still staying below normal. Hanging on to that where you see, we talked about the jet stream, right? And the boundary setting up here. Cold air to the north, right? So, yeah. Precip chances, you see where the highest precip chances are out west here. Above and below normal into Alaska, right? Below normal in the southeast, to the south, to the mid-Atlantic, and parts of Texas, Oklahoma. Below normal to near normal precip chances. Now going a little further out, 3 to 4 weeks out, this was issued yesterday. Cold air is looking to push a little further south. And we looked at that in the jet stream with the high pressure being suppressed a little bit to the south here. So near normal expected for the northeast and mid-Atlantic. Equal chances between that, right? And this may change, but below normal temperatures becoming likely here again into Alaska, above normal in Hawaii again. It's crazy. So in general, week 3 to 4 is still going to be wet out here, out west and into the northeast, and maybe parts of the High Valley and the Great Lakes, and going to be dry again. We're going to be heading back into drought here for the southeast again and parts of the mid-Atlantic. So, well, that's all I got for today, guys. I hope this was informative, and hope you have a great Saturday, and God bless.